let's begin in a comfortable seat. Whatever that looks like for you. You can sit cross-legged, which is my personal favorite, and I'm sitting on a blanket, folded a couple of times. It's a nice way to get some height under your sitting bones, under your hips, and lengthen your spine. If you'd like to sit on your heels instead, you can do that too. So take a moment here to find your seat. You can close your eyes all the way or just soften your gaze forward and down. And make any movements that help you settle in here. So you can shrug your shoulders a few times. You can turn the gaze from left to right. Maybe bring one ear to the shoulder and then back to neutral with the head, opposite ear to opposite shoulder. Wiggle your toes, shift your rib cage from side to side. Just kind of allowing this gentle movement to ease you into stillness. And as you arrive, take a moment, take a breath here to welcome yourself to your practice. And into this space of welcoming, find your attention landing in your body and in your breath. And take the next few moments to just simply feel your way into a relationship with your body, into a relationship with the breath. Noticing everything that's here for you. And as you begin to connect more deeply into the breath and to the body, inviting a more global awareness of yourself, notice if there's a particular word or phrase, a thought or an emotion that wishes to be known, that wishes to be acknowledged. And see if this word, this phrase, whatever it is that is here with you, see if it has a message for you, perhaps something guiding you towards an intention for today's practice. And take another moment here to welcome that intention into your awareness, to let it surface fully and freely. And feeling your intention blossom as an anchor for your practice today, as a guide for your time on your mat. And as you're ready, inhale to sweep the arms out and all the way overhead to the sky. Gather your breath. And exhale, thumbs down to your heart. Bow your chin to your chest. Gently blink your eyes open, level your gaze, release your hands. If you have been sitting cross-legged, as I have, go ahead and switch the cross of your legs. So the opposite shin is in front, the opposite ankle is on top, perhaps. And then again, inhale to sweep out and overhead. Gather your breath. Exhale, twist to the right. So your right fingertips come down onto the ground. Your left hand is perhaps resting on your right thigh or your right knee. Take a moment here to just settle, resisting the urge to pull or crank yourself deeper into the pose. Instead, feel your arms like scaffolding, like strong supports. And as you're ready, gently bring your attention into the back of your ribs and into the sides of your ribs, kind of under your armpits. Widen your breath into this part of your body, the back ribs and the side ribs. And as you exhale, just gently squeeze your belly and your side waist to help you a little deeper into the twist. That's all. You can do that a few more times. We're here for 2 more breaths. Breathing into the width and the space of your back ribs, your side ribs, and just a little muscular engagement to help the spine twist. Perhaps taking the gaze back behind you, over the right shoulder. And then as you inhale, look forward. Exhale to release. Eyes open or closed. Take a breath between sides. And from here, inhale to sweep out and overhead once more. Exhale, twist to the second side. Again, rather than using our arms to pull the body into the twist, can we let the arms rest where they are as supports? And then feel the movement of breath into the sides of your ribs, into the back of your ribs, with just the most gentle of engagement through the belly and side waist, and squeeze your way a little bit deeper into the twist. It's a yin practice, right? So this doesn't have to be the deepest twist known to mankind. Doesn't have to be the most muscularly engaged twist. We're just gently turning on the musculature of the body to support the spine. A couple more breaths here. Maybe you take the gaze back behind you. As you're ready, inhale to look forward. Exhale to release. Eyes open or closed. Give yourself a breath. And as you're ready, blink your eyes open. And we'll transition into child's pose. So, the big toes will touch and your knees will step apart. And your knees can go as wide or as narrow as you feel comfortable. I like a wider knee for this variation because it allows me the space to bring the bolster between my thighs so I can come forward and down. So take a little bit of time to set up your child's pose. If your knees are super wide, so much so that they come off of your mat and onto like a hardwood floor or a tile floor, you might want to spread a blanket out beneath your knees. So take about 5 or so really slow, deep breaths to settle your way into this shape. It's very rare that the first iteration of a pose is the best one. So give yourself permission to lift the torso, maybe shimmy the hips from side to side. Give yourself more support or less support. And as you arrive in this shape, take a moment, just like you did in our seated meditation at the top of practice, to feel your attention land back in the breath and in the body. Just observing what's here, noticing. And as you linger in this pose, can you start to shift your attention just very gently over the next couple of breaths into the space of your side ribs. So the length of your torso from your underarms down to the side of your hips. Lightly placing your attention here and tuning into the breath. And as you're here, the mind will gently ebb and flow, right? Attention will gently ebb and flow. And just do what you can to anchor yourself back here in the sensation of the breath flowing down the sides of your torso. Perhaps even connecting to that feeling of the body expanding out to the sides as you breathe in, and the body settling back into itself as you breathe out. Staying with the breath, the movement of the body, and the flow of energy for 5 more slow, deep inhales. Because we all breathe at our own breath pace, take your time, and when you feel complete in your 5th and final breath, turn your palms down to the ground. And settle here for a moment, feeling the texture of the ground beneath your hands, softening at the back of your jaw. And take your next breath to slowly transition up to a tabletop pose. Take your time to get there. From tabletop, we'll tuck the toes and come into a downward facing dog. Again, take your time to get there. And we're here for 5 breaths. So you can bend one knee at a time. You can gently shimmy your hips from side to side. If that feels nice, shake out your head. Noises are welcome. A big sigh out through the mouth. Anything that helps you arrive. Couple more breaths here. when you feel complete with your fifth and final breath, take an exhale to very gently lower the knees down to the ground. And sit back on your heels. So that bolster that we just used for child's pose, we're going to use once more. So if you pushed it off your mat, bring it back. And instead of being kind of the long way vertical on your mat, we're going to rotate it 90 degrees, coming into a side body stretch here, side body bend. Bring your right hip to the base of your bolster. All right, so the bolster is sideways next to me. And then I have my right hip just about an inch or two away from it. You can stack your knees one directly on top of the other. My lower back doesn't love that, so I'm going to take my top knee and slide it down. And then from here, lengthen your right arm out on the ground, walk yourself down into the side bend. Couple more options here, yogis, before we settle in. You can take your top arm, your left arm, and sweep it overhead. If this is a lot of sensation on your neck, grab your blanket or maybe a block, and you can place it under your head. I like the blanket between my right ear and my right shoulder. As always, give yourself time to arrive. Five or so really slow, deep breaths to make your way into this shape. And as you feel the body settle into a version of the pose that meets your needs today, again, gently welcome your attention back into both breath and body. Notice what's present. The experience of the physical body in the pose, the experience of breath. And very gently over the next couple of breaths, bring your attention into the left side of your body, the side of your body that is open to the sky. Feeling from the left fingertips down to the left toes. Just feeling, right? Just sensing into what's here all along the left hemisphere of your body. Notice the movement of breath here in the left side of the body. And can you invite your inhales into the left part of your rib cage? Feeling the flow of your breath in all along the left side of the ribs, and how just this intentional breath can change your experience of the pose. 5 more breaths. And from here, for your final breath, if you would like, you can take your top leg, your left leg, and straighten it. And you can take your top arm, your left arm, and straighten it. Reaching your toes and your fingers away from one another. Full breath in. And then exhale, roll to your belly. And you can chill out here on your belly for a moment, kind of the upper body draped over your bolster if that feels nice. A little bit of thoracic flexion. Very gently transition your way into tabletop pose. Take your time. And when you get there, resist the urge to move right away and instead just land in tabletop. Eyes open or closed here as you take a breath to feel along the left and right hemispheres of your body. And as you're ready, start to move through a few rounds of cat-cow. See if you can initiate the movement from your pelvis. So you tilt the bowl of your pelvis forward anteriorly, and then wave your spine through for cow, and then tilt the bowl of the pelvis up to the sky. Gather up your belly and your rib cage, chin to the chest, cat. Again, from the base of your spine, from the pelvis, come through for cow, long, slow, deep inhale. And then reverse that for cat. Keep going with your breath. Take your time. And 3 more breaths here, friends. Just feeling that gentle rhythmic connection between your breath and your body. A sense of harmony. And then from here, we'll come into that side body bend on the second side. So find your neutral tabletop spine. Shift so that the left hip is down. Walk your left hand over the bolster. Get really long through the left side of your torso, a lot of length on the underside. And then come into the pose. Maybe the right arm is overhead. Or you can let it rest down by your side. Take 5 or so of your slow, deep breaths to maneuver your way into this pose. Eventually coming into stillness as you settle into an expression of this shape that meets the needs of your body today. And it might be something completely different than the first side, right? We're all a little bit asymmetrical at least. And as you feel yourself settle, again, just welcoming your attention back into the breath and into the body. And perhaps gently turning your attention now to the sensations that are present all along the right hemisphere of your body, from fingertips to toes. Gently flowing with attention from one sensation to the next, cultivating a deep awareness of this side of the body. And then when you're ready, layering in the breath, the sensation of the breath here in the right hemisphere. You might even feel how this attentive breath shifts your physical, your felt experience of the pose. And what would it feel like to perhaps even invite a little bit more space into your breath? Five more slow, deep inhales and exhales here. Again, for your final breath, if you would like, you can take the top arm, the right arm, and straighten it overhead, and you can take your top leg, your right leg, and straighten it, reaching the toes and the fingers away from one another, taking a full breath in all along the right side of your body, and then exhale, roll onto your belly. Let your body drape over the bolster if that's comfortable, and if not, you can slide it out of the way. If the bolster is there, you can stack your hands or your fists to make a little pillow for your forehead. Let your upper spine round and take a few breaths here. Take your time, and over the next breath or two, transition your way up into a tabletop pose. There's no rush to get there. Again, when you land in your tabletop, give yourself just a breath here to notice, to feel below the surface of your skin. And then from your pelvis, inhale, come forward into a cow pose. And then exhale from the pelvis, tilt up and back, rounding for cat. And keep going, moving between these two shapes with the natural rhythm of your breath. Let's do 4 more. And for this final breath, If you would like to come into downward dog, you can do that. Just one breath for final cat-cow, or one breath for a downward facing dog. And then come to sit back on your heels. You can rest your hands in your lap, eyes open or closed. Take a breath. Notice what's here. Gently blink your eyes open. And we'll set up for dragonfly pose. Dragonfly pose. I wanted to put L's in all of the words. So I like to do this one sitting on a blanket again, just like that seated meditation at the top of practice. This is a wide-legged forward fold. So it doesn't have to be the widest leg setup known to mankind. Again, you can be gentle on yourself. If you have knee issues or joint sensitivity, grab blocks or additional rolled up towels or blankets and wedge them under your knees to keep a little bit of flexion there. Even if you don't have knee issues, this just feels really nice. I'm a big fan. And then you can take your cushion, your bolster at any height, right? Maybe it's the tallest height here, and support your forehead as you forward fold. Do the bolster sideways on the middle height and forward fold here. Play around with it. Give yourself 5 or so breaths to fidget and figure out what it is that you need, what feels nice, what feels maybe less nice. Eventually, after a few breaths, after a little bit of fidgeting, you'll come into a version of the forward fold that works for you. And when you get there, maybe give yourself a slow, deep breath to settle in. This can be a spicy pose for some of us. Take a moment to arrive, take a moment to invite your attention back, feeling all the way back into the body, all the way back into the breath. And as you feel your attention land here and now in the breath, in the body, become aware of any particular sensation that is calling out to you. A sensation that maybe feels a little stronger, a little bolder, a little louder. Can you settle your attention there for the next few moments and familiarize yourself with the sensation? What is its texture? Does it have a temperature? Does it feel spacious or contracted? Grounding or uplifting? Does the sensation have defined borders? And then from here, perhaps you gently shift your attention now to a sensation in the body that's less loud, a little quieter, a little more subdued, a little more nuanced. And place your attention here for the next few breaths. Just feeling for texture, for temperature, feeling for the quality of this quiet and subtle sensation, noticing its energy. And again, noticing if it has a border or a boundary to it. As you're ready in your own time, gently taking a moment, a breath to shift your attention back to the first sensation. Just noticing if there's any new information available to you. Feeling here for a moment. And shifting your attention back to that second sensation. Sensing, noticing. And for these final 5 breaths, just in your own pace, in your own time, moving attention back and forth between these 2 sensations in your body. Perhaps even feeling yourself begin to dissolve the boundary between, and starting to experience the wholeness of your body, the wholeness of experience in this moment. And gently turn your palms down to the ground. Take a slow, deep breath in to come up. No rush. Peel yourself upright as you inhale. Lean back into your hands as you exhale. You can keep your chin tucked, or you can gently lift your gaze. Eyes open or closed. Take a breath. Notice what you feel just below the surface of your skin. As you shift out of the pose, what do you feel? And then walk yourself upright. Move your props off to the side. And take your hands like little ice cream scoops under your knees. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug. We'll meet lying down on our backs. Take a couple of breaths to transition there. Open your arms out like a cactus or like a capital T, whatever feels most comfortable. Bend your knees and place your feet on the ground. Cross your right leg over your left like you're sitting in a chair. You can cross once, or you can hook the ankles as well, right behind left. If you do any kind of vinyasa practice, this is your eagle legs, right? Take an inhale here at center. And exhale, legs over to the left. You might scoot your hips over to the right as you come into the twist. If your legs are hovering in midair, one way that you can treat yourself really kindly here is to take your bolster or a block under your knees and give yourself some support. Soften the back of your jaw. And very gently shift your way out of the pose, unwrapping your legs, bringing yourself back to the center, hips to the center. Maybe hands to your belly as you take a breath. If you liked that block on one side, go ahead and place it on the second side so it's there for you in a moment. Set up your arms. Cross the left leg up and over. Take a single bind or wrap your ankles as well. Inhale here, and with your exhale, come into the twist. Maybe you scoot your hips over to the left. Back of the jaw is soft, back of the head is soft and heavy. And very gently transition your way out of the twist. Take your time. Feel the feet touch down on the ground, knees to the sky, maybe belly or hands to your belly as you take a breath. And then from here, setting yourself up for Shavasana. So it might be as simple as extending your legs. If you have a different setup that you really like, you're welcome to go there now. you would like to stay in your rest a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to do so. Otherwise, begin to bring yourself back, inviting a little bit of movement in your fingertips and your toes. Gently turning the head to the right and to the left. Maybe opening and closing your mouth a few times. Movement in the wrists, in the ankles. And then gently gathering your knees up towards your chest. Rocking from side to side. Rolling your ankles, pointing and flexing your toes here for a moment. And then as you're ready, you can pick a side, any side, and roll over. Helping yourself up into a seat. And then bring your palms together at the center of your heart. Bow your chin to your chest. Closing our practice with a moment of shared gratitude. Thank you, friends. Namaste.